You guys, ignore how messed up the neck part of this looks, but because I don't really want to fix it, but what do you think? Hi guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you guys here. I don't really know exactly how to look at you guys. I'm gonna probably take this off, but this is my other mother Halloween look for today. I might be taking it off in this video. I don't know yet, we will see. But I have some Coraline conspiracy theories that I want to share with you guys today, along with trying to pinpoint the history of the other mother. I've been watching so many videos over this. And yes, my bed is a mess today. I do not feel like making it. I need to wash my sheets and I am just avoiding that. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to take her off. Hey guys. Let's see if we can get this kind of even. Let's get this glitter back on. See if we can even this out just a little bit better than what's happening. Oof. So as a lot of you guys probably know, the movie Coraline originally started as a book, a novel by Neil Gaiman. For me personally, this holds a lot of value because it was the first scary novel that I ever read, and it was honestly what originally got me into everything spooky and everything scary. Probably made me who I am today. Dare I say it. But I really got to thinking, just based on some of the stuff that happened in the book and based on some of the stuff that happened in the movie, I have so many questions. I genuinely think that we need like a Coraline 2 or something because I have too many questions. So I started to do some research. I started to look through other people's videos, and the first thing that I really want to tackle today is the history of the other mother, because I really feel like that helps us start to answer some questions. Why is she there? Is she the bad guy? How long has she been there for? Was she human? Was she a fairy? Was she a goblin? Was she a witch? I will have these answered for y'all today. So it's never specifically disclosed how old she is, but we can kind of guesstimate by looking at the ages of her victims. So the first victim is the boy that says, "Thou art alive." Thou art alive. That sentence is very important because that is Old English, which started to die around the 17th century. And if you guys remember, he says that he doesn't remember if he was a boy or a girl, but he does remember wearing dresses. So we can kind of tag this during a time where breaching was going on. And based on some of the other language that he uses, it seems almost like 1700 to 1760 is the time that he was alive. So while it's possible that she could have had more victims before this, I think we kind of got where she got in this. So what was going on during this time that made her go hide? Well, actually, I didn't know this, but the meaning of beldam is old woman or witch, and this language was used back in 1660. And there has been so much debate on the internet on what she is, because even in the book, she ends up referencing having a mother, like a human mother that she also put in the grave. So was she a human? Was she something else? This one YouTuber fully thinks that she is a fairy because of the fairy ring and because of the graphic novel. There's actually a fairy depicted in that as well. So it's quite possible that she could be a fairy herself and feeding off that magic. However, I don't think so. I really do think she is truly just a witch. And while the Salem witch trials were in Massachusetts, this was going on around the 1660s. So my belief is that she was potentially a victim of that and then went into hiding. In the movie, there's also a witch artifact used. I believe it's called a hagstone, the little thing that she looks through, that the neighbors give her, Miss Fink and Miss Forcible, in order to find everything that she's looking for. She can see things that have been lost or things that are dangerous. And the other thing that is very noticeable is that Coraline has a dowsing rod at the very beginning. And she uses these so that she comes across the fairy circle, which, as you guys know, a fairy circle means danger, means a curse. It's very scary. And what was commonly thought about witches at the time is that they were shapeshifters and that they could turn into just about anything. So it would make sense that she can take on all these different forms, including a spider. And I don't really think she is a spider. I think she's just a witch. I just feel like her spider form is where she's most comfortable. Her powers seem to be very limited to what she can see and what she knows through the button eyes. So the other mother utilizes this soul sand almost, and I still don't know how it turns to cotton with the other doll quite yet. I'm not sure exactly how that happens. I don't know if that happens after she's already taken the soul of the child or why that occurs. but it's like her soul sand is what's giving everything life. It's in those mice, it's in Wybie, who isn't even in the book, just by the way, and it's also in the doll for Coraline, it's in the doll for the parents as well. But something that I found that was very interesting is that Mr. Bobinski is made of mice, which is made of sand, so Mr. Bobinski in the other world is made of sand. Wybie in the other world is made of sand. What about the other dad? And what about the two neighbor girls? Because they weren't made of sand, and I don't think that they're made of sand. My theory for them is that they could potentially be the bodies of the souls of the children. Because if you think about it, that's who's left. There was one boy and two girls, and you have the two sisters and you have the dad. It makes sense to me. That might be the theory that I'm going with. I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think. It just makes so much sense to me that she would be utilizing the bodies of the children that she abducted over the years. And she seems to feed off of magic itself, which I think is why that fairy was referenced in the graphic novel. So it would make sense on why she specifically targets kids, because you can create that magic with kids. That's why she's creating all these wonders for Coraline, is because she's eliciting that fear of magic and wonder and all these cool things. Because that's whenever she eats up your life. Because you guys do have to remember that the children said that it didn't hurt. She just ate up their lives. So it seems like she just slowly drained what was left of them and the magic in them, as opposed to just like directly eating them. And I also think that this explains why she didn't target the parents, because as you get older, certain emotions are just harder to elicit, like fear, wonder, magic, curiosity. And that's what she's feeding off of with the children. She's a scary woman. I'm not gonna lie, she's a little scary. She's a little attractive, but she's scary. And also, can we talk about how Coraline herself is just this feminist champion? Like, she wins at the end of this movie just strictly by being herself. She is the complete opposite of ladylike. She is curious, she is bold, she is so many things. And throughout the entire film, she just defies your expectations of an 11-year-old girl. While Coraline is a badass for making it out of there, I'm not 100% for sure that she actually did get out. If you guys do remember, whenever she goes through the tunnel for the first time at the beginning of the film, she never goes back through it. Instead, it just fades back to her old bedroom, representing maybe she never actually left. And I actually fully believe this theory. I talked about it a little bit on TikTok, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more on here. Because if the other mother is this powerful being that is able to manipulate everything that she sees around her with the doll, how is she not powerful enough to convince her that maybe she's back at her real home? Because as you guys can see, whenever she tricks Coraline close to the end of the video, where she's at the other end of the tunnel, whenever Coraline's looking for her parents that have been hidden in the little globe, and she's going back through and she's pretending like she has real eyes instead of button eyes, that shows that she can have real eyes and she can shift her body to where she has real eyes. So because she can shift back to a normal human with real eyes, why can't she do that to the other father and just replicate their old home and make it seem a lot worse than what it is, to convince Coraline to consent to staying with them? Do I sound crazy? Because I feel like I sound crazy right now. The ending was honestly just way too good to be true. Like, I hope that it ends that way. I hope that's the real ending, but something was just not sitting right with me. Like, have you guys seen the end of the Krampus movie? That's kind of how I'm picturing. It's the Pink Palace as this limbo that they're all stuck in together. Even though everything is happy at the end and seems like it's okay, they're still in this world. It's also predicted that maybe the neighbors themselves are also in that dimension too. And that's why you don't really interact with them at the beginning of the movies, because like within the first scene, you see Mr. Bobinski like doing squats on top of the roof, and like no one really seems to notice that. So maybe he's just in the other world doing that and just imagining that he is actually having these amazing award-winning shows. Because it does seem very interesting that their minds of both the neighbors and Mr. Bobinski, they kind of seem like or feel like they're still in their golden days or whatever. So my theory is that the other mother has tricked them as well, and they're also, maybe not fully, maybe it's just like half in that dimension with her. It would also make sense that the other mother is controlling the neighbors, because all of a sudden Miss Spinks and Miss Forcible have everything that Coraline needs, like before they've ever even interacted with her. And if an 11-year-old girl's parents go missing, please tell me you would call the cops or someone, just someone. I don't know, do more than what they did. The other mother is just so powerful and so manipulative. I just do not believe that she would have let Coraline go right back through that door and it all be fine. Like, I genuinely think that she recreated her original world, because how did she even get the parents? How did the parents go from A to B to Z? How are they now behind the mirror? That makes no sense. So someone actually made a chart of what this could potentially look like, and I'm gonna put it somewhere over here so you guys can see, like, there's the tunnel, there's the world, and there's the other layer of the real world that the other mother created to put on top of it, to make Coraline think that she was back in the real world. Because if you really think about it, I know in my heart that that well is also another portal to the other world, because whenever Wybie meets her for the first time, he says if she fell down it, she would look up and see a sky full of stars even in the daytime, which something that is very specific to the other world is that it is nighttime all the time, every time that she's there. So it's another portal. But at the very end of the movie, when she sends the key back down with the hand, that means that the other mother ended right back up with the key again. And the reason that I think that she could only make carbon copies from what she's seen before is because why didn't she make Coraline's friends? Why didn't she make other people from Coraline's life? And I don't really think that Mr. Bobinsey's mouse show or Miss Spinks and Miss Forcible being half nude is necessarily Coraline's taste. It's just what the other mothers saw available to create content on. It is also said in the books that once the kids saw the Beldam, they never saw their real mothers again. So I feel like that's a little bit of a hint as well that she never got back into the real world. The shapeshifter arachnid is just like a little parasite. And that's actually another theory that I want to talk about as well. So it's theorized that maybe she's not the real villain, and maybe the tunnel in and of itself is the villain. The reason why this is thought is because of the book itself. There's so many references to the tunnel slowly coming alive and Coraline becoming more and more fearful of that entity. So it's predicted that potentially the other mother is like a parasite, kind of like I don't know, like a tapeworm living in the stomach of this bigger, more evil system. And she's just kind of catching the souls as this thing is feeding on bigger things. But there's also a theory that maybe the cat is the villain. It's thought that he might be the husband of Wybie's grandma, Mrs. Lovat. But I just don't know. However, Wybie's grandma is a little suspicious to me. And it's thought that potentially she ended up setting up Coraline herself. And it's quite possible. It's quite possible. A lot of people think that maybe she teamed up with the parents in order to do this because they didn't like Coraline and they were broke and they were bothered by the accident, because the mom knew exactly where the key was at. And also the dad at the beginning of the movie told her to count all the doors and the windows or everything that was blue. And if you remember, the well is also technically a door and it's like blue tinted. But based on reading the book, I really don't think that. I do think that they really loved Coraline. But I don't know about Wybie's grandma. I think it's possible that she could have been so worried about Wybie that she wanted to give the other mother something else as bait. It's a little suspicious to me though that her twin sister went missing. Like, I'm wondering, how does she not know what happened? Like, maybe she does. Maybe she was in there and her sister was just the one that decided to stay instead of her. Since they were twins, I mean, either one of them could have picked that doll. Or maybe she plotted with the other mother, bribed her with her twin sister, and then was next bribing her with Coraline, and she's behind the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that one either. I really just think if the other mother is that all-powerful, she's just smarter than that. She's just manipulating it. And the power dynamic of bugs and prey is just so fascinating throughout the entire film. Literally, bugs are everywhere in this film. There's a bug room, there's the bug scene, there's the web scene, there's the other father riding a praying mantis. There's the scene in the shower where she's just like squishing all the bugs. It's disgusting. And just like the real mom is a gardener, watching how bugs impact her environment, so is the other mother, because she is also watching how bugs impact her environment and her web. Also, they literally drive a Volkswagen Bug, which is my car. I love that car so much. And of course, her favorite form is a spider. And in folklore, this represents dreams about fear or anxiety. But Freud himself says that this represents mothers who devour their children out of their own possessiveness or guilt, which I feel like is the whole outline. And the meaning for webs in dreams means intricacy, ancient knowledge, language, creativity, the circle of life, transportation, feminine power, and creation. Wow. And you have to remember that it's suggested that she's contacting the other mother through dreaming because it typically happens after she goes to sleep, that the mice come in and the tunnel opens up. I also wanted to add that her little barrette, I said this in TikTok as well, is significant for the devil's darning needles. I guess in folklore, European folklore specifically, dragonflies are also known as the devil's darning needles. And little stories were made up about them sewing the mouths of naughty children or even poking out your eyes to blind you. So it's interesting that she has dragonflies in her room and also in her hair because of what happens to both YB and what has happened to the past children that have lived there. So of all of these theories that I've talked about and some of the concepts that I've talked about, I really truly just think that the Beldam is a witch, a shape-shifting witch.
Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess! The Wicked Witch of the East, bro!
That lives in a portal underneath the house, and that Coraline never left. She is within a otherworld matrix and she never got out. And I think that potentially the neighbors and her parents and all of them, and maybe even her, are still in the real world, but just in limbo, like half there, half not there, like hallucinating at this point. Just so like no one is suspicious that they're actually missing or whatever. It's just their bodies are there, but their minds and their souls are somewhere in the matrix. It's also showed at the end of the movie, the cat goes through the post and disappears. And you know how he can move in and out of the other world? That might mean that they're still within the other world. I hope that makes sense. And I also wanted to give you like this really weird fact about Coraline that I didn't know and I found out while researching this. Well, I guess there's actually a couple things. One thing that I want to bring up is I didn't really think about her hair being blue. For some reason in my head, I was like, oh, like it just naturally, you know, grows like that. Not true. There's actually a photo of her shown in the movie where she has brown hair. Her parents probably just let her dye it blue so that she would have something to have control over before they moved. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that there's a whole other ripoff film from Coraline called Caroline and the Magic Potion. I sat down to watch clips of this and let me tell you, it was honestly scarier than the movie. Hands down scarier than the movie. I'll show you some clips.
Oh, Marianne, your granddaughter is a great healer. Grandma!
Look, Daddy. Ooh.
Oh, these toys nowadays.
Is this you?
Give me that. That's my grandmother. Hello? Hello, Granny?
Basically, movies like this are made in order to scam you into buying stuff, or like scam like grandparents into buying these videos for their grandkids, and once they get it, they realize, oh, this is not the right movie. And YB is this 25-year-old creep. It's really disturbing. I don't recommend it. So it's creepy for other reasons. But I really hope you guys like this video. Please share, please like, please subscribe. I want to see you guys over here a lot more. And let me know if you guys want me to do any other conspiracy videos on any other films. And more importantly, I want to know what you think about Coraline down in the comments, because if there's any crazy theories that I missed, or something that you think is real, or something you think is just totally outlandish, but you just want to have someone hear you out, I'm so down to read through these comments. I'm so excited. I love this film and I've always loved this film. This is one of my favorite movies, and I think that there's something just so special about claymation. Like all the time, all the care that goes into it. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's for sure a comfort movie of mine. And I like how each time you watch it, you can kind of pull something else out of it. I can't wait to see what you guys say. I love you. Mwah.